If you guys have watched Hajime no Ippo, then definitely you must have seen this scene in the first episode where Takamura was basically explaining the basics of boxing to Ippo. Rotation of hips, torso, shoulder, converting that into a punch, the entire kinetic chain. Check it out.
悔しかったら思いっきりいけ思いっきり
はい。何どうなってんですか先輩。
うるせえなんでもね
思いっきり思いっきり。
おそれだよその気合だよほれ痛そうな面になってきたろもっと踏み込みを強くしてみろ
踏み込みですか。
踏み込んだ瞬間腰をグイッと入れる肩も内側にひねり込むようにだ
はい。踏み込み腰肩よーし、言われた通りにやったらほらこんなに跳ね上がっちゃって見たね見てました。ほんとスカッとしますね。気分爽快って感じですよ。
What? Like, where did that insane power came from? Isn't it really amazing? It's all basic physics. Just keep on watching the video to know it, that what is actually happening. Hello guys, how are you? So it's almost 1 a.m. in the night and I wanted to explain to you guys about the basics of boxing. I was reading about it, the biomechanics of boxing, and it's just so freaking amazing. Like, I thought, like, why not share my knowledge with you all? Believe me or not, boxing is pure physics. A real boxer doesn't use any sort of effort. He's effortless in his boxing. He will just use his body, his torso, his hips, his shoulder, nothing else. But before explaining you the basics, I need to make you understand what is center of mass concept. Everything is related to center of mass. So first let's understand center of mass, right? Let's go. I don't have much means, so I will be explaining you in a copy, so bear with me, alright? So what is center of mass? Before understanding center of mass, let us understand what is vector. This is a vector. Even this is a vector. A vector basically has a magnitude. Here the magnitude means from here till here, the length and the direction, which is defined by this arrow. The arrow is pointing in that direction, so the direction of the vector is in this direction. The magnitude is this. For example, we have with this vector and we have this vector. In this case, the magnitude of this vector is more because the length of this vector is more as compared to the length we have here. The arrow is pointing down, so the direction is down, and the arrow is pointing up, so we have direction in that direction. Okay, slightly tilted upwards. Anyways, so that's the basic concept of vector. We have a magnitude denoted. So if we have vector v, the magnitude is denoted by modulus of v. Why we take modulus? Because anything inside modulus always becomes positive. Magnitude is definitely positive. Magnitude means a value, a quantity. For example, modulus of -2, that is 2. We cannot say -2. Well, how? Okay. So magnitude is a quantity. It quantifies. More is the magnitude. We say that more is that stuff into it. So like this vector in magnitude is greater as compared to this vector. Now vector addition. Vector addition is also very important. You will be guessing why I'm explaining all to you guys this. Everything is related to boxing. Boxing is all physics. Just bear with me. Suppose that we have one vector this and one more vector this, and I tell you to add these two vectors. First tell me whose magnitude is greater, this or this? Definitely this one. You can see the length, right? It's pretty big as compared to this. Suppose this vector is r1 and this vector is r2. Now how can we add these two vectors? Simply bring this tail here. But the way you bring is that you have to shift it parallelly. You see, this is parallel to this. Why we shift parallelly? So that the direction is maintained. You see, the direction is same. The direction is still pointing in that direction. The direction is maintained. You cannot change the direction of a vector. Also, you cannot change the magnitude. You have to shift parallelly. Only if you shift parallelly, the direction will be maintained and then only we can see that indeed this is a vector r2 given the magnitude is also same. So the magnitude and the direction should be maintained. So this is r1, this is r2, this is r1. You can see, and the final vector after adding them up, which is the resultant vector, is this. Simply close this triangle in opposite sense. Both of them are pointing in upward direction. Here close the triangle in opposite sense. So that is what the final vector is. So if we have this vector here and suppose this vector here, what we will do, we will simply shift this vector here. Let's keep the magnitude same, and the final vector is this. Close the triangle. Now let us come to center of mass. What is the center of mass? Suppose we have three particles, say m1, m2 and m3, right? And this is our coordinate. This is simple xyz coordinate. It can be anything, it can be spherical coordinate also. Now what is x? X is a number line such that it starts from 0 and goes till positive infinity. Here also it starts from 0 and goes till positive infinity, and here also it starts from 0 and goes to positive infinity. The arrow is pointing in direction. It's not a vector, okay? It can be, it is also a vector. You can consider it as a vector also, no problem in that. However, this is a number. We say that this is a real number axis, real line axis, number line. There are infinite numbers here, real numbers. Real number can be 1.1, 1.123, anything is real number, anything. Given positive. So now the position vector m1 is this, from the origin to m1. m3 is this, m2, let me draw m2 here, it will be better, easy to draw. Now what we say center of mass is? Center of mass is a weighted mean of m1, m2, m2 and m3. Say this is r1 vector, this is r3 vector, and this r2 vector. So center of mass is m1 r1 vector plus m2 r2 vector plus m3 r3 vector divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3. This is a weighted mean. Why I am telling you that this is a mean, I will explain you. It's very simple. Say that m1, m2 and m3 is same. Say that m1 is equals to m2 is equals to m3. It is m. Now if you add them up, simply m will come common out, right? So take m common, we will have r1 plus r2 plus r3, right? And in the denominator we will have m plus m plus m, which is 3 times m. M and m gets cancelled out, and we will have r1 plus r2 plus r3 vector by 3. It is the mean. You see, r1 plus r2 by 3 is the mean. Just the thing is that m1 and m2 and m3 cannot be same in practical. In reality, m1 and m2 and m3 cannot be same. So the main factor here is the numerator. The denominator is always fixed. It's capital M. m1 plus m2 plus m3. Masses of the particles is always constant. What matters is the numerator, which is m1 r1 plus m2 r2 plus m3 r3. So numerator is the main thing deal with. So m1 r1 plus m2 r2 plus m3 r3 by m1 plus m2 plus m3. Forget about this. This is a constant quantity, okay? Constant k, think of it as a constant. What matters is the numerator. And as I said that m1, m2 and m3 are not same in real life. m1 can be greater than m2, or m2 can be greater than m3, or m3 can be greater than m1, anything it can be. Suppose that m1 is 10, m2 is 3, m3 is 5. In that case, this quantity in the summation, this quantity will dominate as compared to this and this, or even this and this combined. You see, in such a scenario, the final value that we will get, no, the center of mass, a vector, will be more inclined towards r1. The final value that we will get will be more inclined towards r1. For example, in a class, I am giving a simple example. Say that the total marks of the exam is 10, and one guy scored 8, the other scored 2, and one more scored 6. So the average is 8 plus 2 plus 6, that's equal to 16. I'm going to make it 5. So 8 plus 2 plus 5, that's 15. So 15 by 3, that's 5. You can see 5 is closer to 8 or 2 more. 5 is closer to 8 more. 8 here is dominating. 5, this is 5, same. It doesn't matter. But 5 is more closer to 8 as compared to 2. This thing has dominated the sum. What I mean to say that even if you add 10 stuffs here, 100 stuffs here, millions of stuffs here, if this part of the summation is dominating or more, then the center of mass will shift towards that part, that vector. Here m1 r1 is dominating, so center of mass will shift more towards r1 vector. Here's the important thing in boxing: if you shift your weight, the center of mass will shift in that portion where your body weight is more. That's why boxing is all about physics. Because in a human being, you can see a human is simply, if I draw a human is standing like this. Say this is a head, okay, this is the torso, this is the what can I say, this we say this this is a I forgot the name. So this is the hip, okay, hip, this is hip I guess, and this is the hip joint, and this is a foot, this is a foot in this case, and this is your shoulder, okay, shoulder joint, okay, this is shoulder joint is here, this part and this part is connected by this joint here, okay. That's why you can rotate your shoulder, all right. So here in this case, if you observe carefully, you can rotate your torso, you can rotate your shoulder, because there's a shoulder joint. You can rotate your torso, you can rotate your hip, there's a hip joint too here. So these three things plays a very important role: the hip, then the torso, then the shoulder. These three things, the rotation of these three things plays very important role in boxing, along with the feet also, because we are shifting our center of mass by planting our foot forward, the lead foot forward. In this case, if you see, center of mass is exactly in between, because this half is equal weight, this half is equal weight, is exactly symmetrical. Center of half is in between. If somebody stands like this, such a way that more weight is shifted in forward direction, the center of mass is forward. Even if someone tries to push this, sorry guys, the video got disconnected suddenly because I forgot that I just had 2% charge. So what I was telling is that since your body weight, since you have shifted your weight in your front leg, you have tilted your head forward, you inclined, at this moment you inclined forward, right? So your center of mass has shifted forward, and center of mass, many people call it center of gravity. Why? Because force is mass times gravity, as simple as that. Force is mass times gravity, so that's what they call the center of gravity, whatever it is. Mainly the center of mass. Center of mass has shifted forward because you have shifted your body mass forward. Force is mass times gravity, which is nothing but the weight. So weight forward, mass forward, same stuff. Since you have shifted your center of mass forward, even if you give a little push from back, a little push, little, foo, you will fall forward. Believe me or not, you will fall forward. And if you are shifted backward, if somebody pushes you from here, you will fall backward. But if somebody gives you a big push from back, that guy cannot move you, because center of mass is not has shifted backward. More weight is distributed in your backward. So I will explaining you by standing. Wait a minute, let me fix this first. So there you go. Well, you can see me. Yeah, you can see me, and in this stance, body weight is distributed equally. Like if I draw a line straight from here, it will divide my body symmetrically into two halves, and body weight is divided symmetrically into two parts, and center of mass is in between. Now in boxing, you may have seen people standing in this stance. Why they stand in this stance? I have explained to you everything about center of mass. Right now, I can shift my weight. If I tilt forward, this is my lead leg. If I tilt forward, center of mass has been shifted forward. You can feel it. If you like, you see, if you shift forward, then there's a force that is like making you go forward. Even you can experience it, because your back, this portion, your hip starts spinning. Why? There is strain on your hip. You just keep on standing like this. There will be strain on your hip, because there is a forward force. Because the center of mass has shifted forward, that forward force is trying to push you forward. There is. If somebody pushes you, little push will go forward. You will fall forward. However, if you stand like this, if somebody tries to push you from back, you won't fall back forward because center of mass is now in your back position. So this stance is basically to shift the weight. I can shift my weight from my front leg, the lead leg, to the back leg. Now once I've shifted my weight, remember to plant your foot very nicely down. If you push your foot down, there will be a normal force acting upward. That normal force also helps. Remember that. A component of the normal force, because the normal force is bit tilted. Okay. Now your weight is forward in your front leg. Weight is forward. Center of mass is now in the forward direction. So you have got a forward push. Now the main part, you have to rotate your hip. There is a hip joint here. You have to rotate your hip. Okay. You see this is rotation of hip. Okay. Rotation of hip. This is rotation of hip. You have shifted forward, your center of mass is forward. Now rotation of hip along with your torso. This portion is torso. You can rotate your torso. You can rotate your torso also. So plant your foot forward, lead leg, shift your weight. Your center of mass has now, when it was here, now it has gone here, shifted forward. Okay. And initially it was here, now here. Push the ground, it will give a normal force. The normal force is tilted, hence there is a net vector. The normal force is like this, hence there is a net forward force in the horizontal direction. Rotate your hip, your torso, and finally your shoulder, and then go for the punch. Plant your feet forward, center of mass has shifted. Rotate your hips, your torso, and then your shoulder, and then go for the punch. This is the physics of boxing. Believe me or not, this is very, very important in boxing. I have never been to a boxing gym before, but I was like, I am very big fan of Soviet school of boxing. Like, the boxing simply involves physics. It's fully physics, technical. You need to have a very beautiful understanding of the physics. So boxing is not just this fist. Definitely your punching power matters. You can do push-ups and increase your strength. That's a different thing. But the physics of boxing is really awesome. It comes from planting your feet forward, shifting your weight forward. If you're giving the jab, when you have shifted your front leg forward, push your ground down, rotate your hip, rotate your torso, rotate your shoulder, and finally punch. Okay, foot forward, rotation of the hip, rotation of the torso. See, your shoulder. This portion is also rotating the torso, shoulder, and punch. Similarly, when you're going for the cross, here my right hand is a strong hand, hence I give cross with the right hand. I have to in this case I will try to shift my body weight in this leg and then go for the cross body weight in this leg and cross. So boxing is full physics, starting from the ground, shifting of center of mass, rotation of the hips, rotation of the torso, the shoulder, and at last this is nothing. I am telling you, a trained boxer, a pro boxer will never use any sort of energy or any sort of power in this fist. Everything is this. Torso, shoulder. Okay, some combo you guys can try. The jab, the cross, uppercut, the hook. Okay, so jab, cross, uppercut, hook. And one more thing in boxing is that always try to keep a distance from your opponent. So measure the distance, and footwork is very important. Front leg is forward, shift your body weight forward, center of mass has shifted forward, defense should be there, this thing should be up. Okay, try to rotate your hips, torso, and go for the jab, Jab. If somebody comes at you with a jab, shift backward for the defense. Go out. Jab. 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 Cross. Jab. Cross. So this is 1, 2. Jab. If somebody comes you with a jab, go down. Simply shift down. Rotation of the torso. Go for the uppercut. You see? Torso rotates. Power is coming from the rotation of the torso. So that was all about the basics of boxing, starting from your foot to your rotation of your hips to torso, shoulder, and then at last your this hand is your last part. Okay, your fist is your last part of the kinetic chain. It is entirely a kinetic chain. So this is the biomechanics of boxing. I hope you guys liked my video. Well, that's for it today. Good night.